Good morning and welcome to Cooley Outdoors. I'm your host, Brandon Scott, and I got a surprise today off from work today because a job we were doing got done a lot quicker than it was supposed to. We were supposed to do it all week this week and last week, but we got it done yesterday, so today there was nothing for us to do, so we all got the day off, which is fine. I normally work like 70 hours a week, so a surprise day off in the middle of the week is great. So, obviously, there's nobody with me. Nash is busy with the dogs still. It's like today or tomorrow's his last day, and Serena had to go to work. And so, what to do on a surprise day off? Well, go snowshoeing. So I'm up at Mount Rainier. It snowed last night, so they're not opening the gate from Longmire up to Paradise, but the entrance from the Nisqually entrance outside of Ashford to Longmire is open. So I decided I'm going to go scope out a spot I want to go skiing and just double check it, make sure it looks good, because it's been years since I've gone up this spot. I am going up the Westside Road, which is a, for now, decommissioned road inside Mount Rainier National Park. And there is nobody else parked here, and it's snowing. I'm pumped. Oh my goodness, he is actually filming the books on location, and hopefully the intro too. So, Westside Road, it is a, for now, decommissioned road. More about that later. But it's like the Pratt River Trail I went up the other day, where there's kind of, sort of, information on it in the books, but kind of, sort of not. So, day hikes, I mean, I'm snowshoeing, but as you'll see, you have to look at the day hike one. So, day hikes, Mount Rainier, I'm wanting 7 and or 8. Round pass, close enough. Round pass, 7 miles round trip. That's from the parking lot in the summer, which is further up the road. I am right at the turnoff, so you get to drive further up the road. Here, blah, blah, blah. Turn on the West Side Road, follow the West Side Road for 3.3 miles. I obviously did not, so that's all I'm probably going to do is that 3.3 miles to the summer parking area and turn around, because that's a long way. I'm alone. It's snowing, yada, yada, yada. So you can still access the West Side Road. It's closed to vehicles 3.3 miles, but in the winter, as you can tell, they only plow it to the gate right here. 50 hikes, Mount Rainier. It would cover... Same thing, 7 and 8, same thing. Gobbler's Knob. Come on, Couch Creek. Gobbler's Knob, there's the view from Gobbler's Knob. Emerald Ridge is also accessed from this road. Those are trails that are accessed there. So technically I'm doing snowshoeing, but for some reason nobody thought snowshoeing up a decommissioned road for 6 miles to regular trailheads like it's a road. It's flat, it's easy, it's wide, it's still scenic. I guess they didn't decide it was good enough to go. But anyway, so this actual hike isn't in so this actual route isn't in the book, but there are hikes around it that are in this book. I can remember what section has. So there, Mount Rainier starts at 61 and goes through 72. Reflection Lakes did that the other week, but the nearest ones are Mount Belgica, which is just outside the park. You access up a Forest Service road outside the park, and Couts Creek, which is just a little further up the road, and Eagle and Chutla Peaks and Rampart Ridge and Wonderland. Those 3 trails are all accessed out of Longmire, which is only a couple of miles further up the road from that. So, technically, yes, but technically, no. And I'm going up this to snowshoe, obviously, but I'm also scouting out to make sure it's viable for skiing for later ski adventure. So, thank you for joining us. Let's go have some fun. Alrighty. I've noticed I say that in a lot of coming out of breaks from video. Whenever I start a new section of video, I say alright a lot. I'm sorry if it annoys you. That's just where my slightly anxiety-filled, little bit of introverted brain wants to go to start anything. Anywho, it's not a... Ooh, look at that.
deer prints, fresh deer prints since the last night's snow. Already a bunch. And when I was getting out of the car, there was a fox or coyote checking me out from up there. So, not a lot of snow here at ground level. Ooh, look, said fox took a tinkle. But all you need is a little bit of snow, and it's fresh. It did snow last night and Sunday night, and as you can tell, it's snowing again right now, picking up pretty well. More fox prints. I bet he's around. He's probably watching me from somewhere, which I'm fine with. So, as you can see by the still intact speed limit sign and rough road sign slightly further ahead than that, this is a partially crunch. There's not enough fresh snow. And this is still a partially drivable decommissioned road. As I was saying in the book portion, you can drive in the summer 3.3 miles up this road to where they've stopped letting you driving up this road, because this road, the Westside Road, goes like 8 or 10 miles along the western boundary of the park. But they've closed it to vehicle traffic after 3.3 miles because of Tahoma Creek, which is just right over there. It's a little far away right now, but if I make it to the parking lot, and maybe I'll go a little further so you can get a look at Tahoma Creek. So what's so bad about the creek? Is it actively washing out the road? No, that's happening at Carbon. Tahoma Creek is coming off the Tahoma Glacier, and the Tahoma Glacier likes to spit lots of mud and rock and debris. So much so that it's piled up and taken out the main bridge over Tahoma Creek on the Nisqually Road towards Paradise a couple of times. And when it comes down, when the creek comes down off the glacier, it's running pretty much due west until it runs into this mountainside that culminates in Mount Wow and Noble Knob, which you can hike to. And it runs into this road. It has to take a 90-degree turn to the south to flow out of the park. So that's quite dangerous. And every time it does, it sits here and spits up rock and mud and bits of forest up onto the road, creates a mudslide type deal. It's called a lahar. And eventually it will wash out the road. So they've closed it to vehicle traffic at the point where it comes and hits. Now, I've got insider information that'll hopefully come to fruition with this public lands bill that got passed not too long ago. But Mount Rainier has plans, last I knew only in the planning stages, so it has to go through environmental impact statement, and they'll both have to get passed by an act of Congress. See, not much snow. No snow right here because of a big tree creating a shadow. This is what I was worried about. But the National Park has drawn up plans and ideas of rerouting both the Westside Road and the Carbon River Road up away from the water courses so that the roads are safer and aren't in constant impending doom of getting washed out and destroyed. Because right now, as of middle of November, a couple months ago, Carbon is completely closed again because the river has washed out the road outside the park now too. So now you can't even access it. But that's just speculation whether or not all that'll happen. Excuse me. Remains to be seen. I'm hoping it does, because for the Westside Road, they'd really just need to put it up there 100 feet or so above the river bottom, just until you get past Tahoma Creek. As soon as you get past Tahoma Creek and you get on, I believe it's called Emerald Ridge, you can reconnect the road where it switchbacks up Emerald Ridge to Round Pass and the Lake George, Noble Knob, Trailhead, so on and so forth. So it'd only be about 4 or 5 miles, maybe, depending on how much they wanted to, of rerouting past the danger, and then you can connect it to the existing road that goes for another 5 or 10 miles along the side, and open up a bunch of trails that have been, deer poop, previously abandoned since the road closed in 2006. Because all of this came about in 2006. If you need to know one thing about the history of Mount Rainier, or recent history about Mount Rainier, is November 2006. Now, November is storm season in the Pacific Northwest. So when we get our big chunks of wind and rain normally, and I mean big, and November 2006 was special. It messed everything up. Hundreds of thousands of people in the Seattle area were out of power for weeks because of the winds and the rain. Some of you East Coasters go, oh, that doesn't sound like much. Well, gotta understand, until fairly recently, Seattle and its surrounding areas didn't equate to 1 million people yet. So having hundreds of thousands of people out of power is a big deal. And then up here on the mountain, it caused like an estimated $500 million worth of damage to infrastructure. It wiped out trails, it wiped out bridges. Carbon River and the Westside roads became decommissioned to vehicles. It took out a couple of parts of the Nisqually Road going up to Paradise in like 3 or 4 different spots. Took out a whole campground. There used to be a campground right at the entrance. When you're driving the Nisqually entrance, go up to Paradise, come around, go through the entrance station, and that first sweeping left turn where you get a nice big unimpeded view of the river, used to be a campground. The river took that whole section of road out. That's why there's no trees or nothing growing up there, because the river took out that 150-foot section of road. And there used to be a big campground there too, called Sunshine Point or whatever. So November 2006 messed things up. I was hoping there'd be more snow on the road, but this is what I had feared. So I wanted to come check it out and see if it'd be good for skiing. This is probably also why this is not in the snowshoeing routes, because we're only at like 1,200, 1,300 feet of elevation. So it doesn't snow down at this elevation much. This was probably dry until last night. So the snowshoes probably aren't even necessary at this point, and I might just take them off and walk without them, because they're kind of a pain in the butt to walk in this little snow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take them off and put them on the back of my pack. This is a pain in the butt. But fresh snow on the trees, unlike when we went to Reflection Lakes when it was warm and all the snow would come off the trees. Fresh trees, actively snowing, if only a little bit. I'm pretty excited. Oh, you're not recording this whole time? Okay, good. Well, I walked without snowshoes for probably a good quarter mile, half a mile, but I've got them back on now because I think I found the accumulation point from overnight, because it went from barely anything on the road and little tiny corn snow to 6 inches on the road all of a sudden, and as you may tell, it's snowing pretty good. Oh yeah, that's thick powder. So, snowshoes are back on. And then I think, for once, I'm going to shut up and actually shut up and let you enjoy the snowflakes coming down. I have seen a bunch of animal tracks. Some from before the snow, some from after this morning's snow. The coyote, a couple of times, a bunch of different deer tracks, and then some small rodent of some sort. Like a bunny maybe, because it looked like it was bouncing. You'd have the 4 sets of prints, and then there'd be 2 or 3 feet of no prints, and another 4 set, and so on. So I think it was a bun. Otherwise, it's just me out here in the snow. Looks like another set of bun prints going right to left. Oh, this is what it's all about for me. I'd prefer to be up at Paradise, where the trees are shorter and probably got more snow on their boughs, but this year, because of the pandemic, the last couple winters, they seem to be a lot more cautious about opening the road and plowing the road, just because manpower, and they don't want to deal with so many people, which I understand. But in years past, on a day like today, in my childhood, unless it was forecast blizzard conditions, they'd let you up there, because today's forecast is this. Off and on snow showers, accumulations to 6 inches throughout the day. And they plowed it yesterday. It took them till about 3 o'clock, but they got it plowed yesterday. So you could be able to drive up there today. But oh well, another time. And yes, I'm following somebody else's snowshoe track. It's probably from yesterday, just because the snow's already compacted a little and it makes it easier going. Because fresh powder is fun, but it's a lot of hard work. If we were up at, say, Reflection Lakes, and going up and over the forested ridgeline instead of going around Inspiration Point, then yeah, that would be great. But I'm trying to put in a little bit of mileage today. So far though, once I got up to the accumulation point for overnight, this would be pretty good cross-country skiing, especially on the way down. Go back through your own tracks and maybe get a little bit of speed, which is what I wanted to know. Probably pause for a minute or two, turn off the video when I get to the cedar tree, offering a little shelter, because whether you believe it or not, this is a very much an aerobic exercise. It's the same basic motion as hiking. You don't need any special technique to do it, but it's a lot more work. And you don't want to be getting all sweaty in the cold out here. Looks like a small herd of deer came through a couple days ago, and this would be a deer, a couple of deer going down that direction and cutting up sometime earlier. I think we might be getting near Tahoma Creek finally. I can hear what is getting to be a louder and angrier creek. And the only thing I could think of for around here is Tahoma. So hopefully the next bit of video will be that, or it might be that creek right there. Oh well. Alright, so it's been another 20 minutes or so walking, and there's our first decent view of Tahoma Creek out in the main channel. This is just a separate side channel of the creek, or it actually might be a completely different creek altogether. I say this because, as you can see, there's a beaver dam, and under this overhanging and dying cedar tree in there looks to be the hole where they're living. And I wouldn't think they'd try to do that with the main Tahoma Creek, because in the summer, that thing is a roiling, silty, glacial till-filled mess. And it's got power, and it's got anger, and it's got destructive power. This doesn't look like it's very destructive. Heck, it can't be destructive. If there was a dam line there, and now there's another dam line there, with what appears to be a lodge of some sort in the bank over there. Just I should point that out. Lots more deer prints, a couple more coyote prints, another couple sets of bunny prints, a couple of roadside waterfalls back there that I'm sure I'll take longer exposures of when we get back and put them there. I need to start doing that again when I put video in video, do a little sound. But there's a little bit of blue sky trying to poke out there. The mountain is that direction, so hopefully, I know there's a good view up the creek past the parking lot, so I'm going to try and make it to there, because I think I've only got a mile or a mile and a half left, and I should make it there in the next 45 minutes, because it is slow going on snowshoes. Here's a much better view of the dam and the lodge. So there's the dam, there's the pool, and then I say that's the lodge, because as you can see, there's a whole bunch of sticks around that tree, which is what they're going to be grubbing on winter, because beavers don't hibernate. Oh, the snow coming down is so pretty. But I'm pretty sure that's because it looks like there's a hole going underneath the root ball of that cedar tree right there. And then there's all those sticks for them to grub on sitting there. This might be a first year set of beavers, because that dam is not very impressive, nor is this pond yet. So hopefully the coyotes and nothing have got to them yet, and they can improve on it next year. Because as you can see, the creek is trying to squeak around that way. So if they were to build a whole line from there all the way over, and it could get up another foot or two, get a pretty sweet pond going. So hopefully it'll be better improved come next summer. Something else I want to point out that's pretty obscure is this bug coming out. And there's not just one. We'll go find a couple more, but you might be able to see them on camera view. There's like 3 or 4 more in camera view right now, but there's literally dozens crawling from there, going that way. There's another one there, and another one there, and there's like 2 dozen of them I've seen that's coming into this beaver pond. I'm no bug expert, obviously, but it seems pretty weird that there'd be some sort of, they look like they're gonna fly too, some sort of flying insect hatch in the middle of January. It's actually taking February 1st, so in the middle of winter there's some sort of bug hatch going on. Seems a little strange to me, but I don't know. If you're what is it? Entomologists that study bugs, I believe. If you're an entomologist, or you know an entomologist, send them my direction and tell me, what are they and why are they going out February 1st? Bit of an intriguing update for you. First of all, blue sky, sunshine coming out. That high point obscured in the snow clouds, I kid you not, is called Mount Tum Tum, Tum-Tum. But I think I'm like maybe a half mile left to go to get to the parking lot. But I don't think the Westside Road's gonna be open to vehicles at all next summer, at least for a little bit. Because we got ourselves a blockage. It appears that it's snow, mostly snow. But that's a bit of an issue for the tissue. Bit of an avalanche came down at some point. I gotta sneeze. Achoo! Oh, there, sneeze out the way. Bit of a snow issue. This ain't gonna stop me. Well, hopefully it won't stop me. I can tell nobody's been past this, at least in a little bit, because there's no other tracks going up or down or around. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's the money shots. This is at least what I look for in winter. Coming out in fresh powder, snowing or sunshine, just as long as it's not cloudy and gloomy. If it's actively snowing or actively sunny, it's sweet. But give me some blue sky, give me snow in the trees, give me all the prettiness. But the mountain is that direction. Bit of an avalanche. Continue on. Well, after 3.3 miles, as evidenced by a speed limit sign going back down the direction I came, I have made it. This is the parking lot. And up here will be the reason why they decided to stop it here. But you park here in the summer, it's a 10-minute, 15-minute drive in your car. You park here, and then you go up the road about another 3 miles or so to Round Pass, where there's trailheads to Lake George up there, Gobbler's Knob up at the top up there. Let's see if I can get a little better. Up at the top and to the left a little. And then off to the right you can go wander along Emerald Ridge, or if you so choose, you can continue going down the Westside Road for another like 5 or 8 miles or something past Round Pass to the end near, oh, what is it? The Puyallup River, maybe? Somewhere in the Puyallup River or the Mowich River drainage at Denman Falls. And there used to be a couple of campgrounds out that way. But we'll come out here and show you why it's closed. First of all, I mean, should be pretty obvious. That's a couple of big ass avalanche slopes, pardon my French, at least in the winter. Now in the summer, there's a big old raging creek that comes down this. There's a special road passage for it. That's a large avalanche slope. There's a couple more up there along with some beautiful scenery. But that ridge line, that's on the other side of Tahoma Creek. Tahoma Creek comes down through that gap there and comes slamming into this cliff face. We're going down that way. That's a lot of destruction or potential destruction. So that's why you cannot drive further past there. I think I'm gonna go over there somewhere a little ways, find a halfway decent spot to shoot up towards the mountain, shoot a long exposure, hope the mountain comes out, and then go back and go film those waterfalls I saw. So this might be it until the outro. But 15 minutes of driving in the summer turns into 2 hours of good hard work in the winter, and it's worth it. So that point there, right in front of me, is where I shot the long exposure going that way. Had a couple of snow squalls coming in. Mountain never did come out. The funny part though is, if you can see that, some fox came out of the woods, or coyote or something came out of the woods along the spine, all the way up the spine. I know my tracks deleted it now, but, and then yeeted him happy self, his or her happy self, off this 20-foot ledge, and then continued on down their merry way, and who knows where they went. But the end of the road is there, where that snow slide comes down. They have built, it's a concrete creek thing. There's a concrete sluiceway for the creek to go through under the roadbed, and then it's, I think it's graded, if I remember correctly, to drive over. For park vehicles need to drive over. Tahoma Creek comes out, as you can see, it comes down from there, and it pretty much has to slap up against this big wall, which Lake George and Noble Knob are on top of. Noble Knob, Gulliver's Knob, one of the others. And then goes down that way. Mountain is that direction. Up there, that low point, in another 3 miles and just under 1,000 feet of elevation gain from where you park your car down there. Up there is Round Pass, which is where the trailheads are, and then you can continue further on into the Puyallup River drainages. But this is all I think I'm going to do today. It looks great to ski, cross-country ski up, and as if to prove my point, right as I was finishing taking the long exposure, some elderly gentleman came up in skis, came up, chatted with me, whipped around, and went back down. It looks like he was having an easy time. So I think the next time I'm up here, at least in the winter, it'll be hopefully on skis. So what about summer? Park car there, hike up to Round Pass is an option. What I'd prefer to do is park car there, take a bicycle up to Round Pass, or points further and go find some waterfalls that are further along the roadway, and then go up to Lake George and up to the lookout and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of options you can do out here, and because it's not on the main road in the summer and it's not clouded in winter, just nobody comes up here. I've seen probably a dozen different small-ish dog-sized mammal prints, whether they're fox or coyotes or who knows what. One of them was actually walking along the road for like the last half mile until I got here. I've seen at least a dozen bunny prints, a couple of sets of deer prints. It's just great being out here. Oh, of course, now that I'm done taking the long exposure, I'm about to leave. It appears blue sky and sunshine might come out again. Oh well, it's time to go back down and film those 2 little roadside waterfalls for long exposures, and I think call it a day until next time. screw it. Take a little bit of walking back downhill action. No snow falling. Just pretty winter scenery. If you've made it this far into the video, knowing that I was supposed to only tell you the outro after this, thank you. Please like and subscribe. And I'm also on social media, Cooley Outdoors on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This is going to be so much fun to ski up. I'll probably go all the way around past too.
Oh my goodness, he's filming the outro on site too? Holy crap. Anywho, that'll be it for today. Covered about 7 miles. The snow is good for the most part. This last half mile either direction, the trees are so large and so dominating over the road that just not enough snow is making it down, so I didn't have shoes on up or down. But yeah, the snow is good. The scenery was amazing. Coming down was like a dream. I mean, going up was a bit of a struggle. It's a bit of a workout because even that little bit of uphill is a lot. It gets magnified while snowshoeing. But coming down was just cruising. It was great. I'm really excited to hit it with skis and maybe go all the way up to Round Pass. That would be a day. 7.5 miles to Round Pass from here. Fucking flipping. 15-mile day on skis. That sounds like a lot of fun. Anywho, thanks for joining me. Give a like down below or a dislike if you didn't like it, which if you didn't like it, then you really better tell me in the comments. Leave a comment down below, your favorite part. Follow me or follow Cooley Outdoors on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and see you next time. Ciao.